So here they are, the new Americans. Yes, but with a yearning for liberty. Yes, but what are they to do? Start a revolution or a civil war? The fact is, they're really looking for an identity, and everything is difficult for them. They have no money, no army, no uniforms, or even weapons. A famous man, Benjamin Franklin, raises his voice in a profound statement. Our men have nothing to wage war with, then why not give them bows and arrows? They're quite effective.
What's happening here? Why point a weapon at me? What do you want? My surrender? Well, who would I surrender to, and by what right? Why should I surrender? I mean, officially, who am I surrendering to? In the name of what?
You want to know in whose name you'd be surrendering. I mean, who you would be surrendering to. Well, let's say you're surrendering to Jehovah. And naturally, you're surrendering to our Continental Congress.
Yeah, let's keep it simple. Surrender to our Continental Congress.
The taking of Fort Ticonderoga on the banks of Lake Champlain was to give the insurgents 100 cannon all at once, but that didn't solve all their problems. Oh, no. A third of the population remained indifferent to their war, and another third remained loyal to London. It was no help at all.
Get over here. Yes. Put him against the wall. Shoot him. Traitor.
A firm hand was needed to hold the revolution together, and such a leader, luckily, was to emerge. Even as a child, he had shown good character.
Wildest horse on the plantation. He'll never be able to ride him. He'll break his neck if we don't help him.
When Master George sets his mind to doing something, you can bet your boots that he'll do it. That is something that I know. And besides, he's one of the best horsemen in all of Virginia. I shouldn't worry about Mr. George. He'll do all right, he will.
Good morning, Mrs. Washington.
Good morning, Paul. What is it?
It's your son, ma'am. You see, he's trying to break in a stallion.
I never saw anyone hold on like Master George, and that's the truth. Once he sets his mind to it, ma'am.
Well, you know my son George. There's no stopping him.
He's not breathing and his heart stopped. That horse is dead.
I didn't want to kill him, Mother, but he had to learn to obey. It was his own fault.
Oh, my goodness, George, what are you going to be like when you grow up? I shudder to think what you will become.
George Washington proved to be an excellent officer. He handled his men very well. As a young man, George fought the French. He explored the state of Virginia as a surveyor, and he got married. He became a colonel, and then he settled down on his beautiful plantation at Mount Vernon.
Ah, Martha, life here on our plantation is happiness itself. We're going to live in this paradise for the rest of our days.
Oh, George.
Ready?
Don't just look at the enemy. Spread out. Go on.
Watch out! You notice nobody's fired at us here for quite a while. Reload weapons, men. Don't fire till you see the whites of their eyes. We have no powder to waste. Fire at will!
fixed bayonets.
We'll have to fall back to Bunker Hill, where it'll be easier to fight them.
In June 1775, the Battle of Bunker Hill was fought near Boston, and from then on the English, they knew they had a war on their hands with these renegades in rags. Meanwhile, a Continental Congress was in session at Philadelphia.
We must make peace with England.
We have no army, no money, and we have no leader.
We took 100 cannon at Ticonderoga.
And don't forget the Battle of Bunker Hill. Our patriots fought like heroes there.
Gentlemen, here among us we have a man who has already proved his bravery in battle. He is the one who could lead us, Colonel George Washington.
I move that George Washington be named Commander-in-Chief over the whole Continental Army. Those who agree, vote aye.
Aye! Aye! Aye!
Gentlemen, I may not be up to the noble task, but I will carry out my duties to the best of my ability. To this I pledge my life, my fortune, and my sacred honor.
Washington was soon to discover that his job wasn't going to be an easy one.
And are we 20,000?
We're 14,000 men, General.
500 barrels of powder.
No, General, 38.
All my Connecticut soldiers have shown how brave they are. May I request my men not be mixed in with those from Massachusetts?
My soldiers are ready to do battle with the English, but back home in Maryland, not in this godforsaken backwater, primitive no man's land, General Washington.
Back in New Hampshire, we got brilliant officers, and we got plenty, enough to command the whole troops of the army.
And may I inquire just how you became an officer?
Well, General, I'm an officer because my guys all decided that I should be their leader because it's me who gives the orders best. It was all decided fair and square, believe me.
Get out of here!
Enough! American soldiers are supposed to do battle with the English, not with each other.
Now, calm down, General. I'm the one who orders my soldiers. No one else but me says fire. They obey me, General, nobody else.
You're wrong, Colonel. They're all part of our Continental Army, and I am Commander-in-Chief. They're under my orders, and you are demoted, Colonel. You don't deserve such a high rank. You will return to your land, but not as a colonel. We don't need your kind here.
General, I finally just happened to notice when I signed on it was for 3 months, and it's up today, so I'll be going back home, General. Bye.
Do you mean it really happened that way? Incredible.
Well, it really did happen that way. There wasn't a regular army, not yet. Not many weapons and virtually no money, and no money to buy any. The English could land as many men and cannons as they liked, and yet the Continental Army chalked up a number of successes, freeing Boston. It was with a certain optimism that the Continental Congress reconvened in 1776. It is a splendid document. It truly reflects the yearnings for liberty of we Americans.
Here you are, John Adams. Your turn.
Richard Henry Lee will now read an article which he helped to frame.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, and that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it and to institute new governments, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its forms as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and their happiness.
Washington wasn't there to vote on the Declaration of Independence. No, he was in New York on the eve of a massive English attack.
There are over 30,000 redcoats. It will be difficult to defend the city. We must see to it that our men stand and fight well. There are not many of us, and we have so few weapons. General, I'll see what can be done. Hold your positions. Do not retreat. It's our only chance.
Before the shambles of his men, Washington stood his ground, a perfect target for the English.
What we need, General, is a friend. Well, here it is, a genuine Pennsylvanian rifle. And with these, you hit a rabbit right between the eyes at 100 paces, and soldiers as well. Well, General?
I thank you and your friends. It's with men of your caliber that will win our independence, and you will be chief instructor. And you'll be regimental commander.
General, we can't put out the fire. It's burning all of New York. What can we do?
We'll do nothing to extinguish the flames. We would do well to burn the city down. It will slow the English in their march and deprive them of winter quarters. Providence has once again come to our assistance. We must take advantage. We shall retreat to the north if the redcoats don't trap us first.
There, too, they needed Providence to take a hand. And this time in the form of a charming young woman.
General? General, why don't you come in and rest a while? I'm sure you're tired and need some refreshment. Oh, General, please.
And Providence arranged things very well, delaying General Howe's advance by 2 days.
Oh, General.
We've battled continuously while retreating, and we've lost a third of our men. This can't go on. There's only one way. We need a victory, and right now.
On Christmas night, 1776, Trenton on the Delaware River was attacked. There was total surprise. Suffering very few losses, General Washington finally attained the victory that he needed so very badly.
What? You mean with the whole army, the English let General Washington beat them?
Naturally, they immediately set off after Washington and his men. However, Washington had prepared for this. At Princeton, he outwitted them, and besides, the manuals of war they were using said never wage war in winter. Meanwhile, back in London...
His Excellency Lord Germain, Secretary of State for the Colonies, presents respects to the Earl of Sandwich, First Lord of the Admiralty.
Just a second, my dear fellow. Be with you straight away. But dash it, don't remain stuck to the floor. Come here. Allow me to slice a delicious morsel of this exquisite ham.
Quite so. However, my lord, I wish to inform you about the American colonies.
I am now going to make history. You realize that, Germain? What?
Well...
James, would you bring me a lettuce leaf and one of those new fruits from the colonies?
Would it be a tomato?
A tomato, that's right, a tomato.
My dear sir, I suppose you are aware that our colony has been rather a bore on the other side of the Atlantic. I was thinking perhaps we might...
Yes. There you are, my dear sir. Taste a morsel, and then you tell me what you think.
Oh, superb, my dear. Truly, a most splendid repast. Very good.
Ah, what did I tell you?
I wonder what one would name such a delicacy. It's most original. A basket meal. No, there is no basket here. And what do you say to calling it a quick snack? No, much too vulgar. But of course it's a sandwich. It's a perfect name.
Yes, why not? I always said I would go down in history. Now I will, and for my own creation.
I'm quite late. I must go now. Only there was something I wanted to tell you about. What was it now?
Oh, don't worry, old man. You come and see me whenever you like. We'll have a nice chat over a sandwich or two, all right?
Meanwhile, there in London, the brilliant General Burgoyne was devising an infallible
I shall lead
plan.
my 12,000 men, plus our loyalists as well as Indians, and I shall skirt Lake Champlain, moving along its shoreline to bring me as far as Albany. Meanwhile, let Colonel Saint-Leger create a diversion before joining us through the Mohawk Valley. General Howe will leave New York, going up the Hudson, bringing his troops to Albany. And then the trap is set. And with all their communications out, there is only one option. That will be surrender. And this will crush the rebellion. I want it clearly understood. We will commit no acts of savagery. Scalping not permitted. You are to conduct yourselves in a civilized manner. You understand that? You fight in the name of the British sovereign.
Well, at first, everything went according to plan. Ticonderoga Fort was quickly taken. Yes, but the campaign went from bad to worse as Burgoyne, who stubbornly and foolishly followed the military manual rather than adapt to the land, found that the Americans knew how to fight in that terrain, and he didn't. No, the English weren't having a good time of it. In 1 month, the English had advanced 30 miles and losses were heavy. Food stocks were running low. Surrounded at Saratoga by American forces, far outnumbered, General Burgoyne surrendered.
General, keep your sword. Return to England with your men. We will assist your departure in any way we can.
And the quicker you're away, the better. That way we won't have to provide you any food.
General Gates, General Arnold, I appreciate your extreme generosity.
Sir, France is now officially at war with England at your side. Monsieur Franklin and we agree. No separate peace treaty with Great Britain.
Agreed, Monsieur Vergennes. Believe me, you can count on me. The gratitude of the American people toward the French will be eternal. We'll remember you. The young Frenchman distinguished himself fighting for the Americans, the Marquis de Lafayette.
And now forward together, my friends. It is for liberty we fight.
Attack and grant them no quarter! Attack!
But on the ground, the situation was far from brilliant. General Howe found it more gratifying to take Philadelphia rather than come to Burgoyne's rescue. Meanwhile, Lafayette was in great danger. The winter of 1777 to 78 was almost unbearable on the plateau of Valley Forge. The Americans were short of everything: food and clothing and weapons and tents and even firewood. And money to purchase those was cruelly lacking. January 1st that year.
For our brave soldiers.
To help our soldiers, oh, be generous.
While you are firing, you others in back, you reload, and that way no break. You begin to understand me, yeah? You load when the other one is shooting, yeah? You understand that, yeah? You must understand, you load and shoot.
Well, General von Steuben, tell me how it's going.
Yeah, good. You have only to see the men now, General. I present your army, your new Continental Army.
The Battle of Monmouth was a complete rout, mostly because of the cowardice of General Lee, but the enemy forces still remain terribly strong. Their resources are far superior to ours.
But, General, France remains your ally. Don't abandon hope.
Yes, but hope was thin on the ground. Whipped up by loyalist Indians went on the attack, and many lives were lost, including women and even children. A shadow was cast. Each learned to hate the other. Attitudes toward Indians were to be set for generations. Then the fall of Charleston. That was the major defeat in the war and was to cost the Americans the greater part of their army. Was this to be the end?
Was there any hope? It's one defeat after another.
All the battles that were lost, didn't they win some?
Oh, yes, but Camden was another defeat. It was a big one, and even though Washington was a man who could take defeat in his stride, he was upset over Benedict Arnold, who defeated Burgoyne at Saratoga.
I agree. For 20,000 pounds, Major Andre, tonight I will give my troops leave, and you will occupy with your men an undefended fortress. I give you West Point.
General, Major Andre has admitted everything. General Arnold has fled to the English. What are your orders?
You will hang Major Andre at once.
He asks to be shot like a soldier, sir.
No, he will be an example. Hang him as a traitor.
General.
And who can we trust? Tell me, who can we trust, my friend Lafayette?
Yes, it was a sad year back in 1780. That was coming to what appeared to be a tragic and even hopeless end.
All the same, the Americans won, right?
Yes, how did they manage to win?
Well, it was their courage and their perseverance and also France's help. But the war wasn't...
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't want to disturb you. I'm looking... General Washington, a powerful French fleet is on its way. It's commanded by Admiral de Grasse. At last we will have forces to attack.
General Rochambeau, here's the situation in Connecticut, right near New York. We can now deploy there. 9,000 of our Americans and your 8,000 excellent French soldiers.
They are all at your orders, General.
What's our tactic?
Attack Clinton at New York, where he commands 8,000 soldiers, or go to the south to Yorktown to confront Cornwallis's 9,000. Which?
Well, since Admiral de Grasse is heading for Chesapeake, I would say that we go to Yorktown, if you agree, General.
Yes, then we'll have them in our pincers. But Yorktown is a long way. 500 miles with cannons and baggage, ammunition. It will be a hard journey, but we will make it.
How many times I tell you, pay attention!
The honor is yours, General Washington, to set off the signal.
Fire at will!
I want those two turrets taken out. They block our advance.
Here we are at your orders, General Washington.
We're all of us volunteers. Don't worry, General, we'll do.
Your country is proud of you, men, but watch your step.
Forward, let's go!
General Lord Cornwallis wishes to surrender.
And on October 19th, 1781, this was Yorktown. Even if after their surrender at Yorktown, the English still had many soldiers in America, still they had no more will to fight. The treaty guaranteeing the independence of the American colonies was signed in Paris in 1783 and in 1789, just prior to the French Revolution. George Washington was sworn in as the first president of the United States of America.
Once upon a time, the Americas are a story that continues on. Once upon a time,